Now on to Module 11, studying the brain and older brain structures. Studying our brain. Scientists, they selectively lesion or destroy the tissue of some parts of the brain to figure out their functions. For example, they destroy the hypothalamus of a rat and kind of reduces their eating habits. So maybe the hypothalamus are good for regulating eating. This might be their hypothesis. And they can also stimulate specific parts of the brain. For example, they may stimulate part of the brain and observe the response. So maybe this part has to do with speech. Maybe. And speech, as you're going to learn later, is related to Broca's area, what's in the brain. And tools that we use to do these kind of activities is called the electroencephalogram. But you can only remember the EEG part. It's called the EEG. On the test, you're gonna say EEG. They're gonna say EEG. So just remember EEG. So it is an amplified recording of electrical activity at the surface of the brain, measured in waves. Activity. And CT, computed tomograph scan, is a series of X-rays combined to give the image of a slice of the brain structure. PT, positron emission tomography scan, is a visual display of brain activity. It uses radioactive glucose and sees where the energy is used during activity. An MRI, magnetic resonance imaging, uses magnetic waves and radio waves to get images of soft tissues, so it's about structure as well. Now, strong magnetic waves aligns the span of atoms, and then radio waves disrupt it, resulting in an image. So this is how MRI works. An fMRI, called the functional MRI, the F stands for functional. It compares successive MRI shots to look at brain activity. Now, the older brain structures, the oldest, they evolved a long time ago. This implies they govern some of the simplest and most fundamental functions. The brainstem is one of them. The brainstem connects the spinal cord to the brain. They're responsible for automatic survival functions. Within the brainstem, there's something called the medulla. It's at the bottom. It regulates heartbeat and breathing. The pons, they coordinate movements. And the thalamus, they are egg-shaped, and the brain's sensory control center is what they do. They receive sensory information and then sends them to different parts of the brain, except smell. And the reticular formation is a nerve network that travels through the brainstem and thalamus and plays an important role in controlling arousal. The cerebellum is a little brain since it has so many functions. It also processes information. In between the new and old is the limbic system. The neural system that includes the hippocampus, amygdala, and hypothalamus is among the limbic system. This neural system sits between the brain's older parts and its cerebral hemispheres. The limbic system's hypothalamus controls the nearby pituitary gland. So please refer to the image. Now, the associated below cerebral hemispheres associated with emotions and drives. And the hippocampus, they process conscious memories. The damage to this prevents formation of new memories, and the amygdala is linked with emotion, especially aggression and fear. They stimulate the amygdala and excites or irritates the cat. Also linked with detecting fear or aggression. The hypothalamus, they govern the body maintenance, regulates hunger, thirst, body temperature, sexual behavior, and all of these are crucial to healthy internal states. So the hypothalamus receives signals from the brain or the body, then it sends hormones to the pituitary gland, and it acts and releases hormones for different purposes. Now, the rat experiment showed that hypothalamus is actually a pleasure reward center. Using this reward system, we can manipulate rats to do more things we want, kind of like as robots. A malfunction of the dopamine-related reward system can be a factor for addiction or binge eating. Now, as you can see, the amygdala, which is in the left hemisphere, they are linked to emotion. The hippocampus are also linked to memory. The brain is split into the left and the right hemispheres, and the corpus callosum are the axon fibers connecting the two cerebral hemispheres. The thalamus, they relays messages between lower brain centers and cerebral cortex. The hypothalamus, they control maintenance functions such as eating and helps govern endocrine system linked to emotion and reward. Pituitary gland, they are the master endocrine gland. The reticular formation, they help control arousal. The pons, they help coordinate movement. Medulla, they control heartbeat and breathing. Spinal cord, pathway for neural fibers traveling to and from the brain, controls simple reflexes. The cerebellum, they coordinate the voluntary movement and balance and supports learning and memories of such. These are a really huge wave of information that I'm throwing at you, right? I'm really sorry for the boredom. Some of you may be dozing off by this point, but this part is really, really important. You need to memorize all of these functions in order to succeed on your AP Psychology exam. So I have no choice but to throw this information at you. I'm truly sorry, but then this is how life works, right? Hard tide comes at you. You need to surf over the waves in order to achieve the result that you want. So please bear with me and please stay focused. And now moving back to the psychology lecture. The cerebral cortex, as previously mentioned, they are the ultimate control and information processing center. So as you hear my lecture, your cerebral cortex is going to process the information that you're currently learning.